Let's just jump right into it. Today we're diving into a really gripping human story about the American dream, and how for so many ordinary people, it feels like it's literally slipping away. If you've been looking at the housing market recently and felt that familiar knot of anxiety in your stomach, yeah, you're absolutely not alone. We're going to look at the math, the mechanics, and honestly, the real emotions behind why buying a house suddenly feels like an impossible luxury. Picture this. It's a highly relatable, incredibly frustrating scenario that millions of young professionals and middle-class workers are living through right now. You've got a couple earning a six-figure income, good jobs. They're not taking lavish European vacations or leasing luxury cars. They've done everything society told them to do, right? They saved diligently for years, and yet when they finally go to look at the market, they still can't afford a modest three-bedroom starter home. It's like you're doing everything right, but somehow you're still failing.
And that leads to this intense fear of being permanently priced out. It leaves us all asking one crucial question. How on earth did we get here? How did the basic milestone of owning a piece of your own neighborhood become something that feels reserved just for the wealthy?
Well, welcome to WH, helping millions understand the money behind America's biggest stories. Because every dollar has a story, and today we're decoding this one. We're going to break down the economics behind this massive shift, uncovering the surprising facts and the very real feelings driving this housing crisis.
Part 1. The obvious suspects. Why housing became unaffordable. Let's start with the visible, surface-level stuff, the factors driving your anxiety that you probably hear about on the news every single day. These four elements combine to create a perfect storm that just absolutely crushed the purchasing power of the average family. First, you've got home prices soaring to record highs. At the exact same time, mortgage rates climbed, which means the cost of borrowing that money essentially doubled. Add in rapid inflation eating away at your grocery and gas budget, and severe supply shortages, meaning there simply aren't enough homes to go around. It's just a massive mathematical squeeze.
And the sheer frustration of the current market really comes down to this cruel kind of math. Imagine you save $10,000 in a year. Great job, right? But then the price of the home you want goes up by $40,000 in that exact same year. Your years of hard-earned savings are effectively wiped out by faster rising home prices. It's the ultimate moving target, and let's be honest, it is exhausting to chase.
But here's where we really need to look a little deeper, because housing prices aren't actually the biggest reason many Americans are struggling. The real reason is something most people never even think about. We have to ask ourselves, what is lurking beneath the surface of all these obvious numbers? Which brings us to part 2, the hidden forces. What you don't see.
Now this is where the story gets really fascinating, because it's not just about interest rates. It's about how the entire game is structured. There are systemic, invisible forces actually dictating the market. These 5 hidden forces create an environment where building and buying become structurally incredibly difficult. Think of strict zoning restrictions like invisible fences. They literally make it illegal to build smaller, affordable starter homes in a ton of neighborhoods. Then you've got skyrocketing construction costs, making it super expensive for builders to even break ground. Add in massive population migrations, people moving from expensive states to cheaper ones, completely driving up local prices, and complex government policies that bottleneck development. But perhaps the most jarring barrier of all, institutional investors.
Check out this alarming reality of the modern real estate market. Ordinary families are no longer just competing against the couple down the street. Oh no, you are competing in a bidding war against a billion-dollar hedge fund that doesn't even need a mortgage. They're paying in all cash. Massive Wall Street firms and corporate landlords are just snapping up single-family homes, completely shifting the competitive landscape. And that leads to this truly heartbreaking reality. It's the daily struggle of paying sky-high rent while desperately trying to save, all while sitting back and watching corporate entities buy up your neighborhood. It's a total gut punch. It leaves so many feeling like previous generations had it way easier. And for a lot of young adults, this dynamic leads to the quiet, honestly humbling embarrassment of having to move back in with their parents just to have a fighting chance at saving up a down payment. So if you're sitting there feeling like you're being permanently priced out, we really have to ask who's actually profiting from this crisis. Let's take a look and build a clear picture of exactly where all this money is flowing. Part 3, the Great Divide, winners and losers. Look, every economic shift creates two sides, and understanding who sits where really explains exactly why the system hasn't changed. The divide here is incredibly stark. On the winning side, you've got builders commanding premium prices, investors seeing massive returns, banks collecting higher interest, certain booming cities, and existing homeowners who bought years ago and are now sitting on an absolute mountain of equity. But on the losing side, the ones left paying the premium, young families, renters, new graduates, and middle-class workers whose wages simply haven't kept pace with the cost of shelter.
And this isn't just some abstract economic theory. It all boils down to this intense feeling. The dream of owning a home and building stability feels like it's reserved for someone else. It's exactly like looking through a window at a party you just aren't allowed to join.
Part 4. What happens next?
So, where does the housing market go from here? And more importantly, what does it actually mean for your future? Well, depending on how supply, rates, and policies evolve, we could be looking at any of these three very different futures. The optimistic future is one where building finally ramps up, supply catches up with demand, and prices stabilize to actually align with wages. The neutral future means the market stagnates right where it is. Prices don't crash, but they don't surge either, leaving affordability tight but predictable. And the pessimistic future? That's a scary scenario where a permanent renter class is cemented here in America, mirroring some European countries where homeownership is a rarity, not the norm. So you might be wondering right now, are you just doomed to be a renter forever? Or is there a strategic way out? Well, before you feel completely hopeless, let's explore some realistic, educational possibilities to actually navigate this crazy landscape. Part 5. The Survival Guide. Practical Solutions. Look, while we can't change the massive macroeconomic forces overnight, we can absolutely change how we play our own hand. By thinking outside the traditional buying box, you can find new ways to build wealth without just sitting around waiting for the market to fix itself. Step 1. Explore relocation. If your current city is pricing you out, look at emerging, affordable cities where your dollar goes way further. Step 2 goes right along with that. Utilize remote work opportunities to bring a high cost of living salary to a low cost of living area. Step 3, consider house hacking. This means buying a duplex or a home with an extra room and renting out a portion of it so someone else is literally paying down your mortgage for you. And step 4, relentlessly focus on improving your mortgage readiness. Optimize your credit score and pay down bad debt so that you are absolutely ready the very second an opportunity strikes. Part 6. Key takeaways. Let's summarize the biggest lessons from this explainer so you leave feeling informed, prepared, and, above all, empowered. The fundamental takeaway is this: the dream isn't dead, but the rules have definitely changed. The old playbook of your parents' generation, just work hard, save a little, buy the house down the street, that just no longer works in a market dominated by institutional investors and massive supply shortages. But understanding these hidden forces allows you to adapt. You can't beat a system you don't understand, but now you understand it. The system has been rewritten, and the invisible forces are already making their next move. So the big question is, are you going to wait for the market to fix itself, or are you going to rewrite your own playbook? Thank you so much for joining me for this WID explainer. Remember, every dollar has a story, and now you know this one. Stay curious, keep decoding the forces around you, and I'll see you in the next decode.